how about this, man? 43 years since Dayton has had a football player drafted in the NFL draft, and that is you, my man. I know that is a great feeling.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Just having that small school chip on your shoulder and everything, but just everything that program's done for me, I'm super excited to represent at the next level.
Well, as I'm starting to do my research and I'm getting to know you, since you're going to be spending time down here in New Orleans as the newest member of the New Orleans Saints, I see you were a high school quarterback in the state of Michigan and did really well there, all conference type of stuff. And then you didn't actually move to tight end until later once you got to Dayton.
Yeah, no, yeah. So coming from high school, I was a quarterback, but I always had like a really good set of athletic skills, movement-wise, straight line-wise, everything. And I just thought, like, I got into camp a little bit. About a week into camp, I actually asked the coaches to make the change. I just wanted to actually contribute and just be a competitor. Like, I wanted to play as soon as possible. And went to a position group where I thought I could bring a whole new dynamic. And fortunately, that's what I did, just to help the team out. But yeah, I mean, transition took. I think I got switched officially on the 10th day of camp freshman year.
All right, so I didn't know if I was going to bring this up, but I'm glad you mentioned being an athletic guy who has some skills, because you ran a 6'7", 8 3-cone drill at the NFL Combine. I always brag about my 6'8", 5, and you blew me out of the water. Let me just tell our listeners, 6'5", 255 pounds, to be able to do that in the 3-cone is remarkable, man. That is a skill set you've got there.
Yeah, thank you. As you obviously know, like, a lot of those combine drills are a lot of technique. So once you get that down, having, like I said, a good set of athletic skills beforehand helps. But I drilled the technique and got really good at it, and obviously posted a good time.
Adam Trautman, Saints third-round pick, joining us here on Hanging with Hester. Adam, tell me about your last 6 weeks. Obviously, getting ready for the draft is one of the most exciting things anybody can ever do, and then this curveball gets thrown at you. How are you able to stay in shape? How are you able to communicate with teams? What has the last 6 weeks been like?
Yeah, so unfortunately, as you guys know, all the pro days and private workouts got canceled, which was unfortunate, just to miss out on part of the process that you only get to go through once. But to stay in shape, I actually have access to a turf field here where I'm staying in Dayton. And my little brother's with me. He played quarterback in high school as well. So we'll go up. He'll throw routes to me. I got like a couple blocking pads. I can go up and do all my blocking stuff, conditioning, sprints, all that. And then I just looked at my backyard. Like, I got a bunch of bands and medicine balls and stuff, and really just get super creative and get innovative with it and just put it together and, just keep working just so, when the time finally does come, which is hopefully sooner than later, I'll be ready.
So the Saints' MO in the draft has been very aggressive in the Sean Payton era. They have generally not traded back to get more picks. They trade their picks and go get guys that they have targeted. We've seen it with Alvin Kamara, Marcus Davenport, Ryan Ramczyk, whoever it may be. During this process, obviously they identified you as a guy that they wanted to go get. Did you feel that from them, or obviously it's a bit of a chess match? Sometimes they may not tip their hand.
Yeah, no, to be honest, they did not tip their hand to me. I met with them at the Senior Bowl. I met with Coach Campbell and some of the scouts. And, that meeting went really well and stuff. But I actually didn't know how big of a possibility it was until about a couple of days before the draft, when I had like a conference call with my agent. We just went through several teams, just what they thought of me and, possible places I could go and everything. And my agent was like, hey, like, the Saints, they absolutely love you. Like, if you fall to them at this certain spot, like, they're gonna want to take you. And as I kept falling, I was hoping, the right team I was going to land in the right situation, and obviously I did with the Saints.
I was reading my buddy Luke Johnson's profile on you, and in that piece, he said that you had been watching a lot of tape of NFL teams, the Saints included. Mm-hmm. When you put the Saints tape on, what do you see?
Yeah, just how dynamic the offense is, and obviously I watch it in regard to tight end play, and the amount of 12 personnel that they use with Josh Hill and Jared Cook, and the things that they can do with those two, and run scheme wise too, a lot of outside zone, a lot of gap scheme stuff. I ran all of that in college, so obviously I have a lot to learn and all of that, but I'll be very familiar with the system, run game wise, and I see myself being a fit and being able to contribute and help the team.
Adam Trautman is our guest here, the newest member of the New Orleans Saints on Hanging with Hester. Adam, let me ask you this. you were a guy that was traded for, right? They traded picks to move in the draft to select you. I was in the same situation. The Chargers actually traded a second-round pick for the next draft to move up and select me in the third round. I didn't need added motivation, but it was always something I was like, you know what? I want to go out there and prove my worth every single day, and they didn't make a mistake. Do you have any of that? I know it just happened, and you hadn't even been on a football field yet, but is that something you think you'll pay attention to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the funny part was actually I didn't even know until I talked to the media actually, like how much they gave up to trade up for me, and yeah, I definitely want to prove my worth. I mean, they gave up a lot to take me, and it's clearly a huge investment for them, and I want to pay it back. So it's definitely a lot of motivation, and I already have going through the draft and sitting there for longer than I thought I was going to originally. That already kicked in. So
yeah,
no, definitely helps. I got a lot of motivation going right now.
All right, so we were talking a little bit earlier, and I mentioned to you that Jim Nagy, the executive director over at the Senior Bowl, was a gigantic fan of yours. Even before we found out you were coming down to New Orleans, he's a guy that he said, hey, he might have played at Dayton, but let me tell you, he can handle the big boys. And he said in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, you held your own. How big and valuable was that experience for you to go out there and say, you know what, it doesn't matter if it's SEC, Big 10, Big 12. I might have come from Dayton, but I can handle whatever you throw at me.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge for me. I think that was the biggest part of my entire pre-draft and evaluation process, was to go out there and show that it didn't matter that I had a Dayton helmet on, and that it didn't matter that the kid across from me had an Alabama or Michigan or Ohio State helmet on. I think I think if you put an Alabama helmet on me that week, it wouldn't have looked any different. That was absolutely huge for me, and honestly, it's something I always want to do. I've always had like a little edge to myself, No FBS schools took a chance on me. I played at a school that doesn't even give athletic scholarships, and to go out there and just prove and show that it doesn't matter, what school I went to or what situation I came from in college. Like, I'm just as good, if not better, than the guys lining up across from me, and I think I did that. And it was a fun week. I mean, I loved competing against those guys. That was my favorite part of this whole pre-draft process for sure. And Jim Nagy does a heck of a job with that game, and it's so fun for all the players.
Have you heard from number 9?
What'd you say?
Have you heard from Drew Brees?
Yeah, actually, he just texted me today. So, yeah, no, I'm excited. He just wanted to see how I was doing and where I was training and all that. So, obviously excited to play with and learn from, one of the best to ever do it.
Adam, when you look at the Saints offense and when you talk about the tight end position, everyone's going to ask the question, do you see yourself more of a Y tight end or an F tight end? Because at Dayton, you kind of did both. Like, I see highlights with your hand in the ground. I see you flexed out as well. What do you think they're going to ask you to do in year one?
I think it's going to be more of the traditional Y tight end. I know talking to Coach Campbell, like, they think they can do some of the F stuff and move me around a little bit, but I think more of a traditional Y is what they kind of have the vision for me as of right now. And that's the way I view myself. I think I can do both, sticking my hand in the dirt, and if I got to stand up, I can definitely do that as well. So I'd say they're going to use me more so in this first year as a traditional Y.
All right, Adam, I don't know if you realize this, but you're coming to a city with the best fans in the NFL. And I didn't even play for the Saints. I played for the Chargers and Broncos, and the Broncos and Chargers have great fans. But let me just tell you, the Superdome, when it's rocking, is a special, special place. And so what are you expecting that first time in the Superdome? Because, man, it's going to be, obviously, and this is no disrespect to Dayton, but this is going to be the biggest environment you've ever played in.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, don't worry about the disrespect on the fan base. You're all good, but the biggest crowd I played in front of, I think, was like 5,000, maybe 6,000. So, and that was once a year for family weekend. So, yeah, no, I mean, I can only imagine what it's going to be like. I've heard from several vets that it's like when it gets rocking, like it's the loudest stadium in the entire NFL, and I mean, I don't know what to expect. I've never been in anything like that. I anticipate I'm going to have to learn how to, be attached to the line of scrimmage and look at the ball instead of listening for, the snap count. I've never done that before.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to get in front of all the fans. And, yeah, I mean, I've only heard great things and, how football crazy they are about the Saints. So I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, I'm extremely jealous about that, Adam. I know Hunt has one more for you before we let you go.
We'll get you out of here, Adam. I just want to get you. Obviously, you were busy in January, in February, and March, but you were probably paying attention to that basketball team that Dayton had rolling at 29-2 in the top 5 in the country when it was cut short. You probably have some friends on that team. We were talking about them all year about just how good that team was, how good San Diego State was, and for them not to have a chance to compete at the highest level at the end had to be a huge bummer for them and for you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely unfortunate, especially when you see the turnaround, the head coach, Coach Grant, how he turned that program around and all the great players that they have in that program. This was like everyone around campus. I mean, I wasn't even here. I was in California training, but like everyone just freaking out about it. We had college game day and all that, and they were rolling. And it's so unfortunate to see it come to an end and just, I feel awful for not only like the seniors on our team, but seniors everywhere in like every sport. That to have that ripped away from you I could not imagine like playing, my senior year of college basketball and you're in that position and just be like, oh yeah, guess what? Like it's all canceled. So, I mean, it's definitely unfortunate for them, but it was an exciting year for sure.
Adam, have you ever been to Louisiana?
No. But I actually grew up in Houston until I was like 12. So.
So I'm kind of surprised you've never been then.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, people used to always ask like, "Yeah, you been to New Orleans or anything?" I'm like, "No, I actually haven't." So.
Well, see, that's something. Yeah, that's something we didn't know about you. So I actually feel better about you transitioning down here to Louisiana since you have spent time in Houston. So you already know then. You already know about like gumbo and etouffee and crawfish and all those type of things. Like you know what that world's about, so you don't have to worry about like maintaining your weight and just going crazy when you first get here.
No, exactly. And I love going to Galveston, Texas, which was like, oh my God, the seafood down there and everything. That was one of my favorite places to go.
Oh, what's about to go up about 10 notches then if you think Galveston's got good seafood? I mean, you're in for a treat.
Oh, no. Yeah, I've heard, and they also said the humidity is like 10 times worse than Houston. So we'll see about that. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously, like you hear all the great stuff about the food. I'm actually very excited, obviously, about that.
All right, there he is, third round selection of the New Orleans Saints, Adam Trautman, good enough to join us for a couple minutes here on Hang with Hester. Adam, man, I really appreciate the time. We're going to have to do this more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
All right, best of luck, man.
Thank you.